What's good, everybody? Well, welcome back to another reaction with your host, the ignorant, eclectic, mad genius. And today we are checking out a reaction. Americans are posting their paychecks. Why would y'all do that? Nah, I ain't gonna lie to you. Just off of this, like what I'm seeing here, um, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be talking about how the economy is fucking terrible and how it's literally you need like 3 or 4 jobs and like 2 other people to live with you just to make rent in some places. It's crazy. But hit that like, hit that sub, tell a friend, man. And also, if you have a chance and you follow the Facebook page, appreciate you. If you haven't hit that like though, if you haven't hit that subscribe though, do that though. That helped me out in the algo. Yeah, hit that like too. I'm gonna stop talking, man. Let's do this.
Making McDonald's.
What
2
you make,
weeks.
baby?
I'm a manager. Don't let
Okay.
my shirt fool you.
Okay, so she a manager, so she should at least make about like 45, 55 maybe. Last time I checked, I think that's what a manager at McDonald's made. I ain't for sure.
We don't make shit. Me and my husband were both managers at McDonald's.
At both at McDonald's, bro. God damn. I mean, hey, get it how you live, pimp.
And
Nah.
for 2 weeks, I only bring home, where's it at? $1,100. That's 2 weeks. So as manager, in a full month of working, I bring.
Boy, I make just a little bit more than that. A little bit more than that, but goddamn.
In what, 2,400. People are always like, why are you guys so broke? Just our rent alone is $1,500. Our car payment is $500. My car insurance, because I was an irresponsible addict for so long, that's like $400 a month. We live in Phoenix, Arizona. My electric bill is like $200 a month. If you guys just add up like our regular bills, we only have like a $300-400 median after that, and we still have to grocery shop, gas, have money to live. We don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. My husband makes a little bit more money than I do, a tiny bit, not much.
I got a serious question. How the is it that I work out in sites like this? Blue collar work, right? We building shit like this. Valve cans, pipe, backflows, concrete, all this shit. Blue collar work, you know what I'm saying? How the is it that I work in this? And I'm a heavy equipment operator, so that is what I operate.
So he should be getting some cash.
That is another one. But yet, I'm still struggling to live in America. I'm building shit like this. Right now I'm in Kissimmee, Florida, but I'm building shit like this.
Let me know in the comments down below. Do you like canes? Let me know.
Shit like this, dealing with shit like this. Digging down on meters and raising the boxes to curb level and everything. How is it that I'm doing heavy labor jobs, because that's what they say. This is what the old generation says. You got to work hard, you got to get you a good job. Yep. This is what they say. Work hard, get you a good job, or pick up a good trade. How is it that I work in something like this and got 6 years of experience in this, make a significant good amount of money when it comes to gross pay, but yet I'm still struggling? And I'm living below my means. I don't have Netflix, I don't have any of that shit, right? Just enough to pay the rent, just enough to pay my insurance on my car, barely can get food. Food stamp says I make way too much. You know what I'm saying? How is it that I live in America working heavy labor, blue collar jobs like this, 6 years?
Shout out to all my blue collar workers, bro. I respect the hell out of all y'all. Why? Because I've done it before.
Years of experience, and yet I can't live in America.
This is what I'm struggling with in America right now in my 20s. Why is everything so expensive? Why am I making more money waitressing than I would make using my college degree? I barely have a life. I have 2 days off and I work Wednesday to Sunday, doubling just to pay my bills. At 22 years old, all of my bills are in my name. I have no help. How are y'all affording housing? In Myrtle Beach, a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,500. How are y'all getting insurance, going to the doctor, getting medicine? And then some of us are trying to be TikTok influencers. Who knows where that's going to get me? Me and my boyfriend are saving, but we barely see each other during the week, and it feels like we're working our off for nothing. Do we need to move somewhere for a better job opportunity that we don't know about? Do any of y'all really know what you want to do with your life right now? It is so scary being in America right now.
Hi, you guys. So it's currently, I think, like 8:45, 8:41. I just got home from a shift, and
She cute.
I got my first residency paycheck. So I figured I'd come on camera and open it with you guys. So here goes
I gotta see your face. I gotta see your face.
nothing, I guess. Let's see. They got all these whatchamacallits here. Okay. Okay, so gross earnings is $2,227.68.
They probably took out like
Net
1,000.
pay is $1,774.26.
Okay.
Not horrible. This is for 40 hours? I don't know how much this is for. Okay, so it has my hourly rate. My hourly rate is $39.78. I don't know how many hours this is for though in total. So maybe I'll have to do some math.
This was just for 1 week plus 2 days of okay.
Math or read the email that they sent.
If you kids can't live comfortably on $20 an hour, you have to be overspending. We got to break this down very quickly to give people perspective into the Gen Z.
Wait, what? $20 ain't what it used to be, brother. Like $20 used to stretch. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. I used to when my younger brother went to college and was going to college and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Oh man, somebody talking about me. But basically when my younger brother was going to college and things of that nature, I ain't had no problem sliding my dog, you know what I mean, $20-$30 to get him some pizza or something like that. You feel me? Because it wasn't it was you was able to stretch it. Now, it's tough to stretch it. You get you some ramen noodles and then maybe like one or two other things, but that's it.
Lives. If you make $20 an hour, that is $40,000 a year. After taxes, that is $2,750. The average one-bedroom apartment and utility is going to run you $2,000. You cannot do that making $20 an hour, so you're going to have to rent with a roommate for about $1,200, and that's being conservative. $500 a month for groceries, which is less than $150 a week. $300 for a student loan payment, which is below average. $300 for a car payment, which is below average. $150 for car insurance. $150 for gas. $100 for personal care. $50 for a cell phone is $2,750. That is paycheck to paycheck, leaving you with nothing for savings, investments, the big one, health insurance, because I'm assuming they're under 26 years old, and zero.
Bro, health insurance is, boy, if I ain't have my job, I swear to God, bro, health insurance fucking me up.
Fun. Now, if they were to make $30 an hour, that's $60,000 a year. That's $3,900 after taxes. Maybe they decide to get their own place for $2,000 and everything else stays the same. They're left with $350 a month, which is essentially still paycheck to paycheck. This is the cost of living in America.
I am a flight attendant.
How much were you making as a flight attendant when you started versus now?
When I left my old airline, I was at about $70,000. Okay. This time around, as a new hire, I am making about $27,000 before taxes.
What's the reason for that? Well, that's crazy.
New hire pay is one price, and then each year it goes up until you max out at like 12 or 13 years, depending on which airline you work for. The company that I'm with hasn't really given a pay raise for a very long time, so we've been in contract negotiations for that.
How do you feel about, going from 70 down to 20?
Depending on the airline that you work for really determines how much you can work. When I was with another airline, I could work a lot more and make a lot more. With my current airline, I'm hindered by a lot of legalities and stuff, so it kind of hinders me from working as much as I would like to.
I've heard that flight attendants don't get paid until the door closes. Is that right?
We do not get paid until the door closes and the brake releases. So when we are boarding, we are not being paid. When we sign into work, we are not being paid. When we are sitting in the airports between our flights, we are not being paid. It's not all about the money. Of course, we don't do it for the money. If it would help a lot. But yeah, a lot of people do it for the love of people, the love of traveling, and yeah.
Okay, so I just got off work.
Well, that is a caveat, the buddy passes and everything else. And people, I know my homegirl, She used to like sell her buddy passes and stuff like that.
And
Or
I
passenger
did
passes.
the
I forgot what
calculation
they call them
today
now.
from my job. Let me just cover up my uniform a little bit more. Of how much money I made per hour. Today, I made $15 an hour. I have been with this company for 8 years. I've been flying as a flight attendant for 6 years, and I made $15. Now, mind you, if I lived in the middle of the United States, okay, sure, $15 an hour, fine. I live in Seattle. All of our bases are on the West Coast. $15 an hour. I could go work as a receptionist and work whatever schedule I wanted as a receptionist at a hotel or something and get paid like 23, 24 entry level.
All right, y'all. This is the brother here that used to work at Walmart. He said, I left Walmart after 3 months. My checks never had made it past $1,500 bi-week. That's terrible. That's terrible. I'm sorry the brother had to go through that. That's similar. That reminds me when I first moved down to Charlotte, I had got on with Walmart. I had got on with Carvana. Carvana was paying me $1,800 every 2 weeks. I went to my boss and told him I'm about to leave. This ain't no money.
I just got paid, so let's open up my paycheck and see.
It depends on where you live. $1,800 every 2 weeks. That would do me. I would be great if I had 18. If I was making 18 every 2 weeks, what? I'd be good, especially where I live. But like I said, it depends on where you live, and it also depends on your living habits and everything else. If you live above your means, that might not be the best number for you. You might need to go higher.
How much it is. This is my second paycheck for my new library job. This one should be a full paycheck for a full 2 weeks. The last one was not, so I'm curious to see how much this is. It was supposed to be direct deposit, but there was something like messed up with it. It's a paper check again, going old school. I think my guess is gonna be around maybe like $540, $520. Last check was pretty close to a full check, but I think it was missing 1 or 2 days. It is $549.48. So I was almost correct. $549. That means every 2 weeks I will make $550. So I will make $1,100 a month. That is pretty good for part-time. It's only 18 hours a week, but I have 2 like 30-minute breaks that I'm unpaid for. So I only work 17 hours a week, so that's 34 hours for $550. That's not bad. My hourly wage is $17.57 for anybody that's curious. The minimum wage in Connecticut I think just went up to $16 possibly, or $16.50, so I don't make quite much more than minimum wage. So even though I'm making less money per paycheck at this job than I was my retail job, I'm making more per hour, and also the work is nowhere near as like stressful or busy. Like this job is so chill that I'm absolutely fine only making $1,100 a month at this job. That is
well, she did say it was a side gig, so that's also a good thing.
Amazing for like the work that I'm actually doing. It still shocks me, and I'm still trying to get used to the change of pace. So this is what a normal paycheck is going to be. Hopefully from now on there'll be direct deposit, and I will be back to budget this with you and see how much we can put towards my student loans.
How is everyone affording life? Real question. How are you guys doing it? Because my daycare costs the same as our mortgage, which is just wild to me. And I had a crash out earlier today just about how like really expensive everything really truly is. And I just don't know how you guys are doing it. So I have a corporate 6-figure job. I should be able to afford life. We're not doing anything wrong. Just life is expensive. And I'm the breadwinner in my household. There's this like constant stress like hanging over my head all the time of you got to make more to provide for your family, especially in this day and age. And it's wild because at the same time I'm stuck in these corporate handcuffs and I am going through burnout. I don't want to continue doing this. I have like the mental load, hanging over my head. I'm trying to be a good mom, let alone like a good wife, daughter, sister, friend, which I'm failing at all of those things. I feel like,
not to be in y'all's business or anything, but how much money do y'all make an hour? How much money do y'all make? I just seen this video of this girl. She was like, in this type of economy, there's no way I'm showing up to nobody's job to make less than $15 an hour on a lower scale. That's like on a terrible scale. And one thing about life, yes, people have to be more grateful. We have to do a better job at being thankful for what we already have. But let me tell you something. You know how brutal that is? Nobody wants to show up to a job and work like 40 hours. And half the time, if you're making that type of money, you have to work well over 40 hours for it to even make sense. Because if not, the whole check is going to taxes. And it's crazy because when you don't raise minimum wage, but you have jobs that'll pay you $4 or $5 over the minimum wage when the minimum wage is already like sinking. When you think of an ocean, like the minimum wage is already underwater. You're dead at that point. But to pay somebody like $4 or $5 right over the minimum wage just so that they can be able to say they don't make minimum wage is crazy work in this type of economy. Everybody can't make 6 figures a year. Everybody can't make over 100, 2, 3, 4, 500,000 making that type of money with these types of jobs. But what I do know is to not be able to make the bare minimum, you ain't seeing no extra money out your check. And matter of fact, the only way that you can even see some of your check is if you don't pay no bills. You would have to live off of somebody else.
What if I were to tell you that the United States is a second-rate country that is LARPing as a first-world country? This is a...
I mean, I ain't surprised. Me and a bunch of my crypto bros from back in the day, we always said the U.S. was the dude that was in the club that was bummy as shit but had a Gucci belt. That's it. That's it. I mean, you see my belt though? My belt fire. That's Gucci, baby. That's that Gucci, baby.
List of the hours needed to escape poverty living on minimum wage. Yes, there's people that make more than minimum wage. Yes, not everybody makes this, but just look at this and like compare it to what kind of life we live here. Japan, you need 11 hours. United Kingdom, 23. France, 26. Like going up to the higher tier, you're looking at 44 in Canada. So you might have to work a little bit of overtime every single week. But United States, you need 90 hours. 90 hours of minimum wage work just to escape poverty. Mind you, the poverty line is not that high. I think the poverty line is like $30,000 a year, which I don't even see how the poverty line is like that low, because really, I think if you're making anything less than 40 or 50 anywhere in the United States, you can't really afford a one-bedroom apartment. And
It especially nowadays. It is tough. That's why I said in the beginning that you need 2 or 3 paychecks and you need like at least 1 or 2 roommates.
and in some places like where I live in the Bay Area, you're talking about probably needing like $50-$60 an hour just to afford a a 2-bedroom place, a 1-bedroom place, like comfortably. You cannot tell me that this is the land of the free, that this is the American dream. Like, because whose dream is it to work 2.5 jobs a week?
Quick question to any Americans, between the ages of 35 to 45, especially if you have kids, but even if you don't, how are we affording things? How are you affording anything? And houses and cars, that's not really what I'm talking, but yeah, that. I mean more like, how are you affording gas and groceries and healthcare and utilities and all the other 900 subscriptions that are required?
Listen, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. I am very meticulous on how I have my money like organized and like the spending habits and stuff like that. Granted, I don't have certain things, which is, hindrance on myself, but also thank God my legs still work. And then I get like what's that shit called? DoorDash or whatever. I'll be having DoorDash deliver like groceries and stuff like that, which you know what I mean. I make that last for 2 weeks and things of that nature. But yeah, man. If my I got first and foremost shout out to my grandpa. If my grandpa didn't teach me. Matter of fact, shout out to my grandpa and my mama, but my grandpa first. My grandpa taught me how to basically make a chart. You know what I mean? Expenses, flex, which is like the flex is just like if you want to go out, spend money on like video games or some shit like that, movies and stuff like that. Utilities and just like investments. That's literally how I live everything, bro. Cause I ain't gonna lie to you. Sometimes as a creator and as a individual who does a bunch of different things outside of just like my day job and like doing like reactions and stuff like that, like working with tech and stuff like that. Also, I wonder sometimes too, like how the fuck am I doing this? Have I been surprised a couple times? Yes, especially owning a house. You get surprise bills and shit like that. So there's this stress that comes with that, and you also got to you also have to take in consideration that things happen. But I'll hit you. I'm gonna stop talking.
To live these days. How are you doing that? I'm assuming you all also are not you're not taking any vacations, and you've like us have just you've cut out the coffee and the Target shopping and the activities for the kids as much as you can. You've taken away. You've gotten rid of pretty much anything fun. Like you're not having any more fun. Assuming you're also doing that, how are you living? If you have any tips or tricks, just go ahead and drop them in the comments.
You know what? They keep saying that we're in the age of disclosure, and I think that they're right. But I think we also need to start disclosing something else, like on a personal level. Like, I think more people, especially Americans, need to start disclosing how much they are struggling financially. Like, I made a video yesterday talking about how this is my first job.
I disagree, but also I can see where he's coming from. But mind you, I'm old, so I don't know how old this young man is. I just came up in a different time, bro. Yeah, I just came up at a different time. I'll just leave it at that.
That I've been able to land since November of last year. I'm not full time. That job is not full time. It is $19 an hour. It is 32 hours a week. My lease renewal, I've got my third notification about my lease renewal. I cannot afford to renew this lease, and I also can't afford to move, because if you move, what do you got to do?
Pay more.
Deposit, admin fee, application fee, paying for the moving truck, taking time off of work, all this extra stuff that you have to pay for. I cannot afford to do either one.
Damn.
And a lot of people are in this position right now. A lot of people cannot find a job, and it's not because there's just a natural scarcity when it comes to job. It is a manufactured scarcity. They're not hiring anyone. They're cutting 9.
That's why I've said this before. Well, yeah, I've said this before, and it's like older videos, whatever. But the micro economy that we're living in at the moment, bro, like you have to have multiple different things. You got to be doing content on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, X now. Can you know what I mean? Because shout out to shout out to X, because X is basically a bank now. They just had something that passed, I want to say last week, where you get like an X card, and like you can send micro payments through X and things of that nature, and you can have an account through X, like a bank account little thing, like PayPal and everything else. Because Elon was a part of the PayPal mafia, so he's been trying to do something like this for like the last 20 something years, and he's finally able to do it. But yeah,
90% of their workforce, and getting the remaining 10% to do the work of the other 90%, while not increasing their pay. The cost of everything is going up, but everybody keeps reporting record profits. Nobody can afford to pay their workers a livable wage, but everybody has record profits. But you know who does get paid? The shareholders, who do absolutely nothing for the company. This is the state of the economy, right? Like, this is a reality. This is real. And this is where we all are. It's a lot more people that are just too embarrassed to say. You should never be embarrassed about what this system has done to you. Because I'm not.
These paychecks, it just shows the reality of what people are truly making in these different positions throughout the country. Sometimes you think people make more than they do, and in actuality, they don't. And no matter what, if you're blue collar, white collar, I mean, most people that are working full time can barely get ahead now. You can't just save up for vacations and for savings, and to be able to buy assets and to make big plans with the future, because most people really are living paycheck to paycheck. And when you're operating in that cycle, it leaves very little room to be able to do anything else. That's not encouraging. No wonder we're seeing such a rise in, the gig economy, which there's, talk about that not doing so well either. But people need to do all of these side hustles and just trying to get ahead. Just trying.
Oh yeah. I know the usual thing, man. The link for the original video will be in the description below. Shout out to the content creator. I'm pretty sure this is her. Yeah, shout out to her. But man, listen, and the last thing I'll leave you off on is, if you are an individual, well, I won't say I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for myself. I am someone who is kind of financially savvy and kind of financially smart, and unfortunately other individuals in my circle, I'll just say it like that, are not the most financially stable and things of that nature. And unfortunately for myself, I can't speak for nobody else, but unfortunately for myself, that I am the one who people come to attempt to help out and everything else. And if I got the things, if I got the funds and stuff like that, I've helped out multiple different times at my hindrance. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But all that being said, hit that like, hit that sub, tell a friend, and tell a friend. Love each and every last one of y'all, man. I'll catch you on the next one. Let me know if you've been financially struggling in these streets, cause I know I have. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.